All right, let's talk about AI. If you're a project manager, that term might be giving you a little bit of anxiety, right? Well, you're in exactly the right spot. We're going to take all that confusion and turn it into a solid, confident game plan.
So picture this, you've just been put in charge of a new AI project. The big question is, where do you even start? Let's cut through all the jargon. Right here, right now, we're going to build your core playbook. This is the framework you need to lead your team with some real confidence.
Okay, first things first. Let's get the lay of the land. A ton of the confusion around AI just comes from a few key terms getting thrown around like they mean the same thing. They don't. So let's clear that up immediately.
Okay, look at it like this. Artificial intelligence, or AI, that's the big dream, right? The huge, ambitious goal of making machines that can think or act smart. Now, machine learning, that's how we're actually doing it today. It's the main method we use to get closer to that AI goal, by literally teaching computers to learn from data. And deep learning, just think of that as a really powerful specialized tool inside the machine learning toolbox. So if you remember one thing, it's this. AI is the what, and machine learning is the how.
All right, next up, we've got to talk vocabulary. Look, to lead an AI project, you've got to be able to speak the language. Not perfectly, you don't need to be a coder, but enough to have a real conversation with your tech team. So let's focus on the three big ones you're going to hear over and over again.
The first word you'll hear is model. And please, don't let your eyes glaze over thinking about complex algorithms. It's way simpler than that. Just think of a model as a recipe. That's it. It's the set of rules and patterns the computer figures out from all the data. Honestly, your whole project is really just about creating and perfecting this one recipe.
So, if the model is our recipe, what's next? Well, training is when we actually bake the cake. This is the part where you feed the model tons and tons of data. You give it the ingredients, which the tech folks call features, and you also show it what the finished cake should look like. Those are the labels. The model just churns through all of that info to learn the recipe by heart.
And that brings us to inference. This is the good part. This is the payoff. The cake is baked and now you get to serve it. Inference is simply using your trained model, that perfect recipe, on brand new data it's never seen before to get a prediction. This is the moment your AI project actually starts delivering value to the business.
Okay, so we've got the key terms down. Now let's talk about the core strategies. Pretty much every single machine learning project you're ever going to see will fall into one of these three main buckets.
The two big ones you'll see most often are supervised and unsupervised learning. And honestly, the difference is pretty straightforward. Think of supervised learning like studying for a test when you already have the answer key. The data is all labeled with the right answers. Your goal is just to predict a specific outcome. Unsupervised learning, it's the total opposite. You give the machine a huge pile of data with no labels and basically say, go find something interesting in here. No answer key, no cheat sheet.
And then there's the third type, reinforcement learning. The easiest way to think about this one, it's like training a puppy. You've got an agent, that's your model, and it's operating in some kind of environment. It learns completely through trial and error. When it does something right, it gets a reward, just like a treat. This is the kind of thing that's absolutely massive in areas like robotics or for teaching an AI to play a game.
All right, let's pull all of this together. How do these ideas actually fit into a project plan? This is where we get to the playbook itself. We're going to translate that technical pipeline into clear, simple phases that you can actually manage.
So the whole life cycle of an AI project really breaks down into 6 main stages. First, you have to get the data, that's ingest. Then, and this is crucial, you have to check if it's any good, that's validate. After that, you use the data to train the model. Once it's trained, you evaluate it. Does it actually work? Does it meet the targets we set? If it's a yes, you deploy it into the real world. But, and this is a big but, it's not over. You have to constantly monitor it to make sure it doesn't start making weird predictions over time. See? Each one of these is a project phase you can track.
Now, when you look at that life cycle, it's so easy to get bogged down in the tech stuff. But listen, this is probably the most important thing you need to hear as a PM. Your job isn't to write the code. Your job is to define the why. You are the bridge between the technology and the business. And you build that bridge by asking the right questions before a single line of code is written.
And you know what? Most of the time, those huge business questions you need to ask boil down to one of two simple things. The first is a classification problem. You're basically asking, which bucket does this thing go into? Is this email spam or not spam? Is this transaction fraud or not fraud? The second is a regression problem. That's when you're asking how much or how many.
What's the price of this house going to be? How many widgets will we sell next month? If you can frame your project with one of those two questions, you've just nailed down your scope.
Okay, last part, and it's a big one. Let's talk about what can go wrong. AI projects come with their own special set of risks, and a great project manager knows what to keep an eye on. So think of this as your starting watch list.
Your risk register absolutely needs these items on it. First, data bias. Is our data skewed in a way that's going to cause unfair results for certain groups? Next, labeling quality. Are the answers we're training the model on even correct? Because, garbage in, garbage out. Then there's model drift. We talked about that. Will it get worse over time? But what about explainability? This is huge. Can we actually explain why the model made a certain decision? And finally, security. Is our model safe from attacks that are designed specifically to fool AI? Asking these questions isn't just a good idea, it's what will keep your project from going off the rails.
So let's wrap up with this. Your real value as a project manager on an AI team isn't about knowing how to code a neural network. Not at all. It's about knowing the right questions to ask. The right questions about the business problem, about the data, about the whole process, and especially about the risks. With the playbook we just walked through, you're not just ready, you're armed with the questions you need to lead your team to a real win.